You're listening to the Angry Designer Podcast, where we help frustrated graphic designers crush the industry chaos, ditch the social BS, and build badass, rewarding careers that actually pay. Now powered by Wix Studio.
Mr. Scotch. Mr. Scott Fuller. Woo!
Oh, man, I appreciate it.
I was really looking forward to this because, again, we didn't talk too much prior to this. I think we just started actually mutually following each other like 6 months ago.
About 6 months ago, yeah.
Right? And I'm just like, who the hell is this guy? and I mean, holy shit, it's like we've become friends now. I think this is actually, we've grown into a funny little group, it seems. And
I know.
This is really cool. So, and I intentionally didn't ask you too much outside of your normal life, because I knew we were going to get onto this, but up until now, I've just been.
I just thought it's just because you weren't friendly or something. I'm like, this guy doesn't. I'm asking him all this stuff about him. He's not reciprocating. I'm like, he just doesn't care. It's like care. Whatever. But then I find out there's a reason behind it. So
there's always a reason.
It's like I'm still upset, but whatever.
That's all right. You're still stuck with us for another day. So. And again, and it's funny because even this morning, because I mean, okay, what I knew prior to this was I'm like, oh God, he's an educator, all right, and this, and we all know I got issues with that, which is no big issue, but no big deal. But then we started talking more about family, and then this morning we touched on some things, and I was like, this is exactly who our listeners, who angry designers like come to the show to listen to. Of course they'll go and they'll enjoy, some of the big famous people and all the shiny people and all the rants, but it's like the good true stories are the ones that resonate best with people. So yeah, let's start, buddy. Like let's just go. So okay, where did we start? I mean, again, we talked about start at the university level or even before that if you want to.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, just typical artist. I mean, I started drawing when I was a kid. I liked it, and I drew it for other kids, and just a bunch of different things. My dad is a machinist. My mom was a elementary school teacher. I grew up around racing. I grew up playing basketball and baseball and street hockey and whatnot, riding bikes in the cul-de-sac and
cool.
Jumping over stuff. That was always fun.
When did the creative vibe kick?
So I would say the real bug probably kicked in about high school, my senior year. I had never taken an art class before.
Yeah.
And I decided I'd give it a shot. I just needed a couple extra credits. And I fell in love. The crazy thing was my scholarship when I got out of high school was for mechanical engineering. So I'm not kidding. So high school, I did trig, physics, calculus, the whole bit. I was ready to go.
Right.
I graduated high school at 16 and went straight to college. But right before that, I went and did one more little just go through, tour the college and everything. I snuck away from the engineering group after about 2 minutes and spent the next 2 days in the art department. And cool. I was like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do.
Wow.
So, first 2 years were pen and pencil, painting, different stuff like that. I was very good at it, but I was bored.
Yeah.
I was being bored to death. I was literally 2 mouse clicks away from blowing that all up and just going and doing mechanical engineering.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
Wow.
So I said, I'm going to give it one more semester. And my first class was a design class. And I fell in love. I said, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And I knew it after 10 minutes.
Wow.
And that's...
So what was it about the design portion that...
So when I was doing all the work and everything like that, when the painting, the drawing and everything, I'm looking at something and drawing, looking at something and painting it. And I'm just doing it in different, in different ways. And I'm like, I never felt like I was actually creating anything.
Yeah.
So when I found art, when I found design, one of the first things they talked about was logo design. Yeah. They started talking about all these, OG designers and everything. And I was just dumbfounded. I said, I didn't even know this world existed. And now I can't get enough of it.
So what's cool about that is it's like you can almost see how your past world of, trig and math and all that actually, because if you would have said, composition or layout, a little different, but logo design, the true masters, it was so mathematical, even though it was so, visual, so beautiful. So I could see how that all of a sudden would be so sexy coming from your past.
Yeah. And I loved it. I mean, my first 3 logo designs, I think I got like A's on all 3 of them, and I'd never done a logo before.
Yeah.
And it was just, I was obsessed.
Yeah.
My first, right after that, right between my junior and senior year, I went to my first ever design conference, which was the How Conference.
Yeah.
In 2007. Now, I want you to think about this. In 2007, 17, 18 years ago now, a student ticket, no workshops, was $650 in 2007.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah.
But I remember going in there and meeting, my first talk that I ever heard was Chip Kidd.
Yep.
Who is just
cool.
freaking amazing. I've had a chance to talk to him, like message him, like over the years, whatnot. He's like, yeah, if you're ever up in New York and you just want to hang out, just let me know. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Wow.
This guy is, I love this guy so much. But the second talk changed my entire career, and that was Steph Guy Spuler.
Yeah.
The guy who did the NBC logo, the stuff
Very
like that.
cool.
He was, So he's in his 80s now, man.
Yeah,
He was one of my first mentors.
Yep.
And I learned from him. And it was unbelievable. So when I came out of school, so we're talking 2008 to about middle of 2012, everything was sustainability, right?
Yes.
Everything was green and leafy and organic.
All the paper we had was
brown.
brown.
Browning. And craft. And everything was handcrafted. The handcrafted started in 2012.
Yeah.
I mean, it was bad. I saw a sign that said a handcrafted car wash, and I was like, it's like, so you telling me when my dad sent me outside to wash his truck, I could have charged $50 for, but anyway,
only if you had shorts on.
Yeah.
Okay.
There it is. But, so going from that, my first book that I got was the trademark book from Schmeyer and Geismar.
Right.
And that spoke to me in a way that no other designer had at that point.
Right.
And it just fit along with everything that I believed about work, about design, about that. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to take this and I'm going to start playing around with this and then doing that. And then I went to other sources and I was cobbling little things about like brand audits and like talking to clients and all this type of stuff. And for probably 2 or 3 years, I'm like piecing together who I am, how I want to approach this. And it really hasn't changed much in 15 years.
Yeah.
Even from the beginning, I just got better at it.
Yeah.
But the personal thing was like having a personal aspect to everything was a huge part of it. But that's where I really got my start was the moment I sat down in his talk.
Yeah. Cool.
I knew it.
So your parents, you said that they came, you were going to be a mechanical engineer.
Mm-hmm.
You told me the environment. What did they have any sort of life shock when you told them, hey, guess what? I'm going to give up something stable like engineering and just be an artist.
They, I mean, everybody got the same, everybody kind of had the same thing. And what was funny is I only told a handful of people before I went up. So I was the valedictorian in my high school.
Jeez.
So I went up there. Yeah, me and the other guy who graduated. So I would have been anyway. But it's a 4.0. So I'm like, yeah, let's go. So I got up there and I remember saying like, yeah, I'm headed off to college and this is going to be my major. And you could literally hear the air being sucked out of the room.
Yeah, I know, right?
But I remember my art teacher and the principal, who was actually the like husband and wife or whatnot, they actually came up to me afterwards and they're like, yeah, you got this.
Yeah.
I'm really, really, really happy for you.
Very cool. That's good. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I was very happy.
So then, so you're in college and you've got the bug and you're blasting through this. Okay. What happened next?
Met my wife in college, which was great.
Cool.
She's a musician. She plays flute.
Very cool.
Some piano as well.
Okay.
Amazing. We met my junior year and started dating my senior year. And then we got married in 2008. Now, 2008 ended up being a pretty rough year, being the recession and everything. So when I got out of college, I started interning at this agency in Atlanta, right there in the middle of downtown. It was fantastic. I loved it. It was so funny, you know. I look at what interns get to do today, like right off the bat, and I'm like, you're all a bunch of wusses.
I know.
Every single dadgum one.
You have no idea how good you have it.
So 2008, I didn't know. Forget the fact that I didn't know I had a desk. I didn't know I had a chair. I was in the back with Pantone swatches, X-Acto knives, spray glue, you know, Scotch tape, and all I was doing was making stuff for presentations for the first month. Had no clue that like I said, forget a desk. I didn't even know I had a chair, right? And then finally I get about a month in and they're like, oh, hey, come back here. There was somebody else back there in my space. And I'm like, this is my space. What are you doing? You know, what's going on? It's like, no, we need you to come over here. So then I take about a week or so. They put me in on little tasks here and there to learn the system. And then they gave me a client. They gave me an account as an intern.
Jeez, as an intern.
As an intern. So I had them. I had traffic. I sat right across from the traffic manager, Rhonda, who was amazing. And then I had my 2 art directors next to me. And then Kendra, creative director, was like a couple rows away. It was a small agency. It was maybe like 12, 13 people.
Yep.
And it was amazing. And designed this logo, you know, did the presentation and everything. That was my first professional logo. And they're still using it 17 years later.
That's amazing, dude.
So
That's
when
great.
I got into design, this whole idea of like, I want to make something, the timeless aspect from Steph's talk was the one that really stuck with me.
Yes.
So I said, yeah, this is what I want to do. I want to make stuff that's going to last, stuff that never has to be redesigned.
Yeah. That's amazing. So 2008, tough time with the recession and everything.
So when I was coming down towards the end of my internship, they were like, we want to bring you on. And I'm like, this is great. I'm getting married in a couple months. This is amazing. And I'm stoked. And and then kid didn't come till 3 years later, but we had I was so excited. And then in 24 hours, they lost their number 2 client. Like just out of the blue.
Oh,
yeah.
So very different conversation.
yeah.
So then I'm out of work, no job,
Just like that.
getting married in 2 months.
Yep.
Like that. I'm grunt boy for UPS, like helping them with like their Christmas delivery. I worked too much. I worked so much the first day, I could only work 2 hours the rest of the week. They were like, oh, well, you can't have them on the truck for that long. And I'm like, why don't you ask me about that? You know,
Yeah.
I kind of need the money.
You kind of need it. Yeah.
I mean, it was nuts. And then went from there to like a grunt boy at a machine shop. I mean, I worked in a machine shop ever since I was a little kid, you know, helping my dad out and everything. But I'm cutting material, I'm driving forklifts, and I'm, you know, just, it's the dirty, nasty, like dangerous type of thing, right?
Yeah.
And then 2 months after we got married, I got laid off from that. And then I got, like, I'm in another place and I'm building crates for cylinders, you know, and then I'm working second shift over here, which is, I hate second shift. It's give me third shift at that point. I mean, it was so bad because you go in at 2:30 and you leave at 11.
Yeah.
And then you get home and you sleep. If you oversleep, you've got like 2 hours at home.
Yeah.
And then you're right back at it. It was not fun. And then, you know, I'm working in a screen printing shop where I'm the only one who speaks English as their first language. That was hysterical.
Oh, yeah?
We got paid in cash every week, down to the penny.
Really?
Down to the penny. It's like, you got X amount of dollars and 17 cents. And I'm like,
no rounding up.
No rounding up.
Even come to that.
No rounding up. No rounding up. And it's just like, you know, and then I was there for a little while, and then I'm at an Apple store, and not even a real one, a third party one. I couldn't, it was called
Where they
Peach,
also pay cash.
It was, yeah, it was called Peach Mac. I couldn't even get a job at a real Apple store. I was using design as a sales pitch. Let me tell you what I can do on this computer just to show you how powerful it was.
Hey,
yeah.
That's awesome.
That's what it was. Yeah, that's what I thought too, you know? But it was crazy because I actually I'm actually really good with people. I'm good at selling. I've always been good at sales. So, I mean, I sold you guys on having me on here. So.
Yeah. We're
But-
quickly regretting that.
You sold me that Sean was a cool guy.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
you guys
that's
are good at this too.
You had us at hello.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I did. I kind of did. It was really, really fun. We'll have to reenact our first in-person meeting. So for those of you who don't have video, we're all wearing black.
Yeah.
We all have beards, and we all
look the
have
same.
thick frame black glasses,
we-
and two of us are wearing hats. Sean has evolved
I'm the
to
other
wearing a beanie, right?
Beanie,
Right,
yes.
yeah.
Proper thug.
Yeah.
So we got in there, and I saw these guys, and I'm like, look, I'm going to stand to the right. Then Ma's going to stand right there, and then Sean's going to stand over here, and it's going to look like the next 30 years of my evolution.
Evolution. Goes from red beard to,
That's right,
to
yes.
gray
salt
beard,
pepper
gray,
beard
to white
gray.
beard.
Yeah.
Oh, my
All
gosh.
Slouched over and,
Oh man, it was great.
the future.
So Peach Mac.
Yeah.
So
Peach Mac.
I was actually one of the top salesmen in the company. Like, we were going through and we're going well. And then this guy came in, ran a trucking company in up in Truckers Row in Atlanta, and found out I did design. He was like, I might have some freelance work for you, which I was doing on the side. So I said, all right, let's do it. So I go up there. I take a half day. I'm going to meet this guy. Go up there, and he tells me that he actually doesn't have any freelance work for me. And in my mind, I'm, of course, pissed off. I'm like,
Yeah.
I took it half a day. I need the money.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? He goes, no. And I'm saying all this in my head, right? And I just went, I see, and I'm like, keep going, And then he goes, no, I want to hire you full time.
Oh.
I want you to run like all our design, everything that comes out of here.
Cool.
That's packaging, that's catalogs, that's branding, that's everything.
Holy shit.
So I basically quadrupled what I was making.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude.
Now,
Awesome.
I'll never forget that day, because that evening we found out that my wife was pregnant with my son.
Wow.
So
what
all
a
of that
good-
happened in one day. And here's the other funny part. So I went in the next day to tell my boss, and tell the whole team, I'm going to be a dad. Everybody's freaking out. And then my boss pulls me aside. He's like, man, this couldn't come at a better time. He said, let me tell you something. He's like, we want to make you, I was basically going to be made like number 2 at the store.
Yeah.
He's like, we want to make you do that. We want to do that. So I said, Mike, you're going to hate me right now.
But I got about.
So I told him, I was like, yeah, this is actually my 2-week notice, because I actually got offered a thing. And he was bummed. So I had another person there at the store who we were like it was like rivals, right?
Yeah,
Sales
yeah.
rivals. And then after Black Friday, we weren't rivals anymore.
Oh.
At least not by the numbers. So I remember my last day, they came up to me and said, well, guess, you just couldn't hack it. So, I'm the number, they're going to be the number 2 now. And I said, the only reason that you have it is because I turned it down
Yeah. Leave him
and
thinking
then
that.
left.
Yeah.
Gone. I never saw them again. But that was like the best, like,
Sweet.
mic drop or
Yeah.
whatever. And I was like, I've been waiting, 5 months to say this to you. It was great. Worked there for a couple of years. Had a great time. During that time is when I started the studio.
Yeah.
In the back of an old sign shop. I was working on a little restaurant project right there in my hometown. And this little sign shop was like a 5-minute walk from where my wife and I lived at the time. And it had a great little back area, this awesome little workshop. It was
Yep.
about the size of this booth. I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't much of anything,
Yeah.
but I loved it.
Yeah.
And I was like, can I use it, work here when you're not here? It was this old school guy, right?
Yeah.
And we got to know each other, and he's like, I came in one day and he just handed me a key. He's like, these are my hours. He said, your hours are whenever I'm not here.
Yeah, nice.
Just that little area, just that little room.
Yeah.
So the first night that I was there, I called it the studio temporary, just as a joke.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah.
So
It's got a good buzz.
It
to
does.
it.
It's
during
very
that
cool.
time, during that time, it was like the period of nomad designers, right? Because we were, which Starbucks do you work at? Which Starbucks did you go to? Which
Yeah.
Starbucks did you go? Yeah, because
We're
there weren't.
transient.
Well, there weren't a lot of like just solo coffee shops at the time.
You're right.
Right. So I was like, I'm going to be here 1 week. I'm going to be here the next week. I'm going to be whatever. So for a couple months, that place was the studio temporary. And then I read an interview by Alan Fletcher, and he was asked, what's the most important tool in your studio? And his answer was my head, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's a good answer.
So I went back to studio that night, and I came up with my first tagline, which was good design wherever I happen to be.
Nice.
And the studio temporary stuck. It started out as a joke, and no one's laughing now.
Yeah, right.
Great.
So
awesome.
Sweet. That's cool.
And then the trucking company, I'm still working there, but I was at the studio every night.
Yeah.
Trying to start my own stuff, doing my own thing, working on my own stuff, growing my own stuff. Yeah.
Those early memories, though. Like, I remember, when we started, we had a tiny office above an oil garage. We could smell the oil fumes. The joke was that the oil fumes is what kept us creative. And I just remember.
I can see the effects now, too.
But it's just those, the late nights, the doing it, like hours were nothing. It didn't matter at that point.
What was it? I had a like an 8 to 5 and a 9 to 5.
Yeah, literally though, eh?
Great.
Jeez.
It was wild, but I mean, I'd go there and
you were doing anything you had to do.
Whatever I had to do. And so a year later, I basically worked myself out of a job at the trucking company. It's like
cool.
They could pay somebody half of what they were paying me to do what I was doing at that point.
Yeah.
I wasn't happy about it at all.
Oh, yeah.
But so I left there, and then it was just horrific. We were trying to get work here, trying to get work there. Nothing was coming in. And then we came home one night to an eviction notice on our door. We had 3 days. Had to get out.
At your house?
The studio apartment that my wife and I and my 1-year-old son were in.
No way.
You talk about something.
Yeah.
That image of like my wife and I just kind of sitting in the middle of our empty thing right before we handed the keys over. I remember just that stuck with me for years.
Yeah.
To the point where it became unhealthy.
Yeah.
One of the things I talk about in my talk is obsession comes with a cost.
Yeah.
And no one talks about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there were things that I probably could have done. There were things that I probably should have done, honestly. And, I had to grow a lot from that as well. And, that's the one thing I can say that we've never had to worry about is like making rent or like making payments or doing anything like that.
Yeah.
Now, the last couple of years have been not fun.
Yes.
At all. But, I have an amazing wife, an amazing family who's stuck there by me. I'm so happy that she did. And, it was crazy. And then I remember I was working at a Minuteman Press a couple years later. And interesting thing. And out of the blue, I randomly got a call from a financial firm. It had like 200 people, but they had a full in-house design team. Video,
cool.
copywriting, design, web, dev, everything.
Yeah.
And they just called me up out of the blue. We'd like for you to come up here and interview for senior designer. And I was like,
shit.
I didn't even know you guys existed. It's like, what's going on? So I go up there and I had the interview and everything like that. And, they were like hip, right? So that meant I could keep my beard. They told me, this is some of the things that they told me in the interview.
That was the real reason. They're like, we need someone who looks really creative and cool.
You can keep your beard.
Get the beard guy.
You can keep wearing your hat.
Oh.
Nice.
During the thing. And I was like, well, that's great.
Yeah.
And then it's like, now the only other thing is you can't freelance while you're here. And I said, yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
Funny.
I said, I'll sign whatever you want me to sign, and then I'm still going to go do it anyway, because that's not anything that you guys can stop me from doing.
Yeah.
I said, so I said...
So you didn't close down studio temporary?
No, here's the crazy thing. Folks didn't know that I was working at that trucking company until 5 years later. Online, I was studio temporary. At conferences, I was studio temporary.
Smart.
When I got that job at Impact, I never, ever put that on my LinkedIn or anywhere else.
Yeah.
There were no pictures of me at work. It was just studio temporary.
That's fucking
I was
brilliant,
putting
little secret.
I was having client meetings during my lunch breaks, Monday through Thursday we would do our own thing. Every Friday the team would go out and have lunch,
For lunch.
which I loved that.
Yeah, that's good.
But Monday through Thursday, it was a working lunch every time.
Right.
What I would do is I'd have client meetings, calls during my lunch break.
Amazing.
You guys are going to love this. I got interviewed for a podcast during my lunch break back in 2014.
That's funny.
I had an hour lunch break. I took a 10-minute nap and recorded a 45-minute podcast. In my car during my lunch break.
That's awesome.
On company property. So we did that, and it was so crazy because at that agency, at the in-house thing, I was 29 years old, and I was the second oldest person on the team.
Jeez.
By like 4, what is it? The oldest person was like 6 months older than me, but we were the oldest people there by like 4 and 5 years. It was a young team.
Yeah.
So I remember I came in, and I already had a lot of clout. I had done a lot of stuff. So when I came in, I remember the creative director, that guy. Mm-hmm. I remember him being so happy to have me here, and like everybody, like he's, this is going to be fun, and everybody was super welcoming the first month or so there.
Yeah.
And then I remember somehow somebody got a hold of one of my talks, and they played it at the office.
Oh shit.
And I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. And then I remember the creative director basically saying, it's like, yeah, this guy could do all y'all's jobs. And I was like, are you serious? You are. And from that day on.
Cool.
Yeah.
Not good.
No,
it wasn't
not good.
Oh.
Because they're all young kids there. So they're like, this guy's going to come in and he's going to take over all the cool stuff
Were they all shitty to you then after that?
Oh.
For the next 11 months.
So here he thought he was like, doing something teachable.
I didn't even ask him to do it. I'm like, dude, I even told him, I'm like, don't play that.
Don't do this.
This is not what I'm here for. I'm just here to work.
Yeah.
And like, I have this great, and then they hand me this huge project like right when I get there because I've been doing these type of projects for years.
Yeah.
And everybody else had to be there for like a year before they could do something like that, right?
Right.
So I did the project. I killed it. It was one of the best in like their history.
Yep.
I never got to touch another one the entire time I was there. Another big project like that the entire time I was there.
Wow.
Really?
Yep. I was told 10 months later, I finally had enough. I'm like, look, I'm going to be here for, another, maybe like a couple years or something. And then I'm finally going to jump out on my own.
Yeah.
So I'm just taking it on the chin. I'm like, I'm just going to go in, I'm going to do this and know that I have studio temporary waiting on me at lunch and when I get off of work.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I just shut my mouth and just kept going.
Yeah.
After 10 months, I'm like, I'm not going to deal with this anymore. So I went and then I'm like, what is this? There's no reason for this. And then it was like, oh, you're not a team player and you're not this. And I'm like, that's a lie.
Yeah.
And you can bring whoever in there and I'll say that to their face. I'm like, that is the biggest load of crap I've ever heard in my life. So we, they're like, oh, well, we'll try this, we'll try that, And then about a month later, the guy who ran our team considered him to be some sort of Don Draper, whatever, sitting back,
Yeah.
Yeah, he cost the company something to the tune of about $50 million or something. Here's what was so bad. They canned him, but they kicked him out, but they couldn't like officially make him leave for like 2 weeks. So they actually set him up at a folding table and a desk in front of the elevator. I'm not kidding.
That's
they made
poetic,
that
though.
was his office for the 2 weeks. It's like, you're going to be here for 2 weeks.
Can you imagine? That'll teach him.
That was basically the equivalent of the dunce cap in the corner.
Yes, that's exactly.
I was like, I just walked past him and I'm just sitting there like, what? So they ended up laying off like 20% of the company in 2 days.
Wow.
So the day before, I had my 1 year thing. And at 1 year, you get a raise, you get all this bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And I got all gold stars.
Oh, yeah.
The next day, I get brought in and, hey, Scott, we just need to run something by you real quick. Okay, cool. I go back there and there's HR, the guy from HR.
That's not good.
And my creative director, and 2 pieces of paper on the table. I knew it.
Yeah.
Now, I made friends with the HR guy like day one.
Yeah, smart.
And he told me afterwards, he was like, I tried to text you.
Oh.
But they literally walked me and he's like, I couldn't.
Yeah.
Just so you can know what was coming.
So you knew what was happening.
The moment I walked in, I knew what was coming.
Yeah, that's obvious.
My creative director wouldn't even look me in the face. It was like, you're this, you're this, you're this, you're this. It was the exact opposite of everything that they had told me less than 24 hours before.
Right. Yeah.
So I made him like, now it's like, you have to look me in the face and say this.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I stood up.
Yeah.
I'm like, it was not a great conversation.
No.
So I walked out of there. I was supposed to meet my wife and little boy for lunch that day. I walked out holding a cardboard box of my stuff. So we're in the car, and my wife says, this had happened to me throughout my career where things would happen at the company and some of the higher earners or stuff like that would be let go, or something would happen and this would happen or whatnot. So my wife said, if you're going to start your company, do it now.
Yeah.
We have a little bit of a cushion. And that way, if anything goes wrong, it was something that you did.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
No pressure.
Yeah,
No, it's that's fine.
I mean,
I'm
get it.
fine
Exactly.
taking. I'm fine taking responsibility.
Yeah.
for
This is
that.
the thing, and you won't have a fucking HR guy or someone who's going to shank you in the back, right?
So, well, yeah. So I called in about what is it?
He was over your shoulder.
That guy again?
Him again? I really should have thrown something at
I know,
James
right?
yesterday.
Yeah.
I really should have done that. So
We thought being beside Alan Peters would be a good thing.
Yeah. He's a
We're just
rowdy
joking.
guy over there.
oh man, him and his bag. But so anyway, we did 45 minutes after I walked out of there, I had 5 meetings with new clients.
Nice. And now you don't have to hide. It's not on your lunch hour.
I will. Yep.
You can go full on.
And here's the thing: the moment that you fully go out on your own,
Yeah.
it's like the whole world gets an email, gets an email alert.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it's like, wait, what is all this stuff that's happening? All this work, all this new stuff, and all of a sudden, my work went from like here's 1, here's 2 to like 1, 2, like all this
And
stuff, and it's like,
starting
what
to
is
plow.
happening?
Yeah.
And then just went for it.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
All right, designers, let's cut the bull. How many times have you had a killer website designed only to watch it fall apart because of code or developer telling you no? Or maybe you've held back from web design altogether thinking it's just too complicated and too technical or totally out of your wheelhouse. Either way, it's time for a change. Wix Studio is designed for designers, removing the barriers that limits your designs. Whether you're tired of developers watering down your ideas or too intimidated by the technical side of web, Wix Studio puts the creative power back in your hands. No code required. With a drag and drop interface that feels designer intuitive, plus no code animations and even AI powered tools, you can create fully custom websites that match your vision. Every pixel, every detail. And if you're worried about the learning curve, don't be. Wix Studio is designed to feel as intuitive as your favorite design tools. Some designers here even say more so. That means you can jump right in and focus on what you do best, designing badass, brand-aligned websites that'll take your business to the next level. So whether you've had enough of developers holding you back or you're ready to finally step into web design, check out wixstudio.com and take control. That's wixstudio.com. Go and take back web design for graphic designers.
So now you've gone through all this hell, and starting your agency, regardless of what kind of problems and hardships we have, probably nothing compared to everything you've gone through at that point. Like
Nothing.
now it's just a matter, the hardest thing is to just find work,
Exactly.
right? And which in retrospect seems so much easier, but hardship defines who we become.
Yeah.
Right. And at this point, running the agency almost seems like peanuts compared to the shit that you went
Just
through.
seems like it's kind of an afterthought at that point.
Right.
And it's probably right there. You know, you were you were born to do this kind of thing, right? Which is the perseverance part of it. That's,
Yeah.
like you hit all this shit. Some people would be just like, fuck this, but you just like knuckled down and said, no, I know what's going to happen. I know what I'm going to do.
And maybe I didn't do it in the most healthy way at times, but
who does? I mean, we don't have a roadmap for this stuff.
But it's been great. I mean, I've had some fun successes. I've had some great. I got stories upon stories, man. But
we'll do a podcast series.
Just this kind of stuff.
So it's
the
like
ups and downs.
The first 5 years, and then
that's right.
2010. Or 2020 to 2025 lost years, and then, man, as much time as I've spent with you guys, this could be an entire episode itself, but yeah.
So
that's awesome. That is a great
so there's
story.
no question that hardship defines who we become. And you said something earlier on one of your stories that maybe you skipped, and if it is intentional, tell me. But it was, you said you got accepted to 4 your top 3 choices.
All in Atlanta.
So you'd think that would be your highest high. And then
that was in 2008, and I couldn't afford to go to any one of them. I lost my
brutal.
job and everything like that. So it's like, I got a family to feed.
Yeah.
No, I can't do that. And it just wasn't possible. And then, there was another one. I got an internship at the agency that I wanted to work at.
Yeah.
It was a small place. I was going to be like the 5th person ever there, right?
Yeah.
No, 4th.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Right.
Shit.
So there was the founders, and then their like main designer, and then I was going to be like number 4.
Yeah.
But it was an internship. Now, the internship that I did at my first studio was amazing. I got paid great. I got paid time and a half.
Yeah.
I could expense stuff as an intern. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
This agency, they said, we'd love to offer you that, and I'm freaking out. And then I said, all right, how do we do pay? He's like, oh, we don't pay our interns. We just give them a gas stipend.
That's it.
This is a
here's
4-month
20 bucks a
internship.
gas.
Wow.
This is a 4-month internship. So I turned him down.
Yeah. Wow.
I turned it down
Even though this was the dream gig.
Yeah.
because
Good for you.
because I was always going to resent them for that.
Yeah, you're right.
Right.
You're right.
And then it turned out that now here's the thing, the 2 founders have been friends of mine for, 18 years.
yeah.
They've been there for advice. They've been there for different things like that. They've even sent some work my way.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I found out, I look at the time, as a young designer, and even I'm just looking at the type of work they put out. What I wasn't thinking about was the culture. And it turns out I wouldn't have been a good fit. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Just because you don't fit somewhere, even though you love the work, that's okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna have things like that. But it worked out.
Yeah.
But yeah.
A lot of people aren't confident with that. And so they try to mask who they are. This has been a very common theme that we've had. A lot of people, they're not true to themselves.
Yeah.
And, it's okay, like you said, not to fit everywhere. It's okay not to be liked by everybody. Not everybody's going to want to work with us. Not everybody wants to be on this podcast because, our style, our approach is a little bit different. And that's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
And again, I think that was a pivotal moment in my life. It was so freeing. And it sounds like it was the exact same experience with you.
And then
It doesn't make us bad people.
no,
It doesn't make us,
bad.
poor at what we do.
It's like I'm not willing to put myself in a situation where I discovered I wasn't it just wasn't going to be a fit.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be conflict, there's going to be back and forth, there's going to be all kind of stuff going on. So,
Yeah.
why would I want to do that anyway?
Right.
I don't want to sacrifice that just to say that I was there.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely.
So
now you've got your awesome studio. So now the highs of the studio. There's obviously lows.
Yeah.
We've talked enough about lows in this, but now you've now got your place, and it's just, your work is fucking awesome.
I appreciate that.
Okay, it is. And again, I
It's
was so
amazing.
excited to I love this guy and his stuff. It's so,
Yeah.
and I need one of those hats.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
dude,
you.
dude.
There we go.
Okay, agency highs.
Agency highs. Oh man, first couple years were a little hit and miss, just because I'm trying this, I'm trying that. Some of the projects were a little here, some of them there, and I'm still getting out. I'm figuring out who I am. And man, I remember 2016 was the year things really turned around. So after my first year, I got an office space in this 100-year-old building in the middle of downtown Atlanta for free.
With all the bricks and stuff like
for free.
For free.
Amazing.
I was there for 3.5 years. I never paid a penny in rent, but I just did work for him, a ton of work for him. The first project that I did was the sign that got hand painted on the front of the building, a 100-year-old building in the middle of downtown Atlanta.
Yep.
I designed shirts and posters. There was a basement that you could see from open basement that you could see from the street, little area, had like gates around it, and it's like just the sidewalk and then the street, right?
Yeah.
And they put a ping pong table out there. I designed an entire mural down there. It's like Atlanta's only subterranean ping pong or table tennis stadium, and like did type and like all type of stuff so people could look down in there, and it was like a stadium thing and just see that and whatnot.
Yeah.
And just a ton of stuff. I got to work I started working in the startup industry, got to know all the tech guys. I got to just do all type of stuff over and over and over again, things that I never would have had an opportunity to do. And I had my own space
which is very
to where
important.
people could kind of come in and see what my brain was like.
Yeah.
Always interesting, but I had stuff.
Scary place.
I had stuff all over the walls, books everywhere. Old pieces of like ephemera and whatnot. And people would come in, and a 1-hour meeting would turn into 2-3 hours because we're looking at all this stuff and getting all these ideas and everything, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
But 2018 was when everything went amazing. I got asked by ESPN to do this project. So back in 2018, when LeBron was leaving Cleveland for the second time, in LA and Philly, a couple billboards popped up basically saying like, hey, LeBron, come here or whatnot. Yeah. So ESPN got the idea that we should hire one designer who's actually an NBA fan from each city to design a billboard.
Oh, sweet.
So they, and they're going to put it online and do whatever. So they asked me to be a part of it. Well, the copywriters were running the creative, not the actual creatives.
Of course.
So everything was kitschy and cliche and whatnot. Like, I put out this awesome stuff, and they threw it back like, what is this? And I'm like,
shit.
So we finally decided on one, and I was actually happy with it, I was using like old Migos lyrics and stuff like that, and it was great. And so 2 weeks go by, and everything's coming out like a couple days later. I get a call from ESPN, and they go, so we want you to send all the files over that you have, like all the variations.
So your versions,
all the other versions as well, all the ones that got turned down too.
Yeah.
And I said, why?
Why?
Because they're going to sift through.
I said, why? And I said, I thought we'd already signed off. It's like, we're going to take some of this and we're going to cobble this together and do with that. And I said, and whose name are you putting on it? I said, because it won't be mine.
Yeah.
I said, that is not how this works. And they were like, well, we do this. I said, we've been done for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Why didn't you call me then?
Yeah.
I said, so I'm not going to do it.
Oh,
I said, so I'm pulling my work.
Wow.
I said, you cannot use any of it. I said, and they were like, well, what are we going to do? I said, I don't care.
Yeah.
I said, but I'm not going to do this. I said, they were like, well, do you know of anybody who can do the work? And I said, I do, but I'm trying to decide if I want to send them to you. I said, so go find your own designers. But, so I'll probably never work with ESPN again. But, whatever. But here's the thing. Here's what came out of it, though. So I posted that piece. It was the Hawks. It was like this awesome, like super awesome Hawk with like the Larry O'Brien trophy and everything. And I put it on Instagram and I tagged the Hawks. About 2 months later, I get an email from the executive creative director of the Hawks. We have a project we think you'd be the perfect fit for. Can you come and meet us tomorrow? Nice. The studio that I was in the Switchyards building was a block and a half from Hawks headquarters.
Yeah.
So I just walked there.
Yeah.
Cool. So Miss Selena, the amazing receptionist, she ran that place. Look, I'm just gonna say it. She ran that place. So our running joke was, "Do you need me to validate your parking?" And I'd pull my shoe off and be like, "Yeah, here you go." So that was like our standing joke every time I went there. So they came in. They were like, "We want you to design the identity for our esports team. Now, they started NBA 2K esports league, and they were treating it like a portion of each one of the NBA franchises.
Cool.
Nike's agency designed everything: the identity, the logo, the trophy, and 29 out of the 30 NBA teams.
Holy jeez.
Except for one.
29 of the 30.
Except for one.
Wow.
And that was the Hawks.
And that was
Sweet.
They turned them down and said, we want to do local.
Yeah.
And they brought me in.
Awesome.
So they told me, this is the funny thing, they told me to bring my portfolio with me. This is 2018. Yes. I haven't brought my portfolio anywhere in almost 9 years, right?
Yeah.
You know, Pina Zangaro isn't around anymore, so, you know, what am I going to do? So I had made this huge 24 by 36 poster, had like 220 pieces of design on there, big checkered thing, screen printed, had like a little blind emboss down at the bottom of like my seal. You know, it was amazing.
Yes.
And I had, I had one that was red paper, and then it was just black and white checkered all over the whole thing. So I brought that one.
Yeah.
And they were like, we're up on the top floor, corner office, CMO's office. It was Melissa Proctor, amazing CMO, Shirley Zhang, the creative director. And we were sitting up there, and they said, all right, well, you know, do you have something for us to look at? And I said, well, you know, I couldn't find all my old sleeves to put all my work in my portfolio, so I brought you something better. Mm-hmm. So I rolled this huge 24 by 36 poster out on her desk, paper weighted on the end, and I said, all right, there's over 200 pieces of design on here. Point to any one of them. I'll tell you when I did it, who I did it for, and a funny story to go with it. Now, bear in mind, I only had a funny story for about a third of them.
Okay.
So I'm taking a bit of a risk. So I'm like...
going to reuse that funny story, though, for a while.
Yeah. So it's like, well, this is the same funny story. They were very similar people, you know. You know. So, so anyway, 5 minutes later, I got the job.
Yeah.
And here was the other funny thing. They were like, they asked if they could keep the poster.
Sweet.
I said, if you look on the back of the poster, I've already signed it to you guys.
Oh, that's really cool.
Before I got there.
Yeah.
I said, just flip it over. Yeah. And it was like to Melissa and Shirley, you know, that's all. Whatever. Because I just assumed I was going to get it.
Yeah.
So we went there, designed that. It was phenomenal. We had this one point where I sent in what we thought was the final version. And if you ever work with an NBA team, the last level you have to go through, the final boss, right, is legal.
Yeah.
You send something off to legal, it is 2 weeks. Not a week and a half, not 13 days, 2 weeks on the dot every time, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So we had what we thought was the final version. It was this beautiful, like, just very angular thing. It had the head kind of off to the side, you know, and everybody approved. The NBA loved it. The management loved it. The owner loved it. Everybody loved it. We sent it off to legal. And from what I understand, it was like, yes, 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 yes. Looks slightly German.
Oh,
jeez.
Which we know what that means.
Yeah.
So I remember I was I was there after, I was there while they had the call, and I remember, everybody was like insanely pissed.
Yeah.
So, but it was only the head. So I had to go back and design like 30 different heads just for this hawk. But it ended up being better.
Oh, cool.
Whoa,
it ended up being much better.
You know, when you have those parameters, it does force you to take it.
This is something I want y'all to think about too. And, you know, and other designers, you know, one of the things you haven't really heard from me, other than the, you know, even the ESPN thing, it wasn't really like this horror story. It was just, you know, no, this is not going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't really talk a lot about, you know, horror stories, because I learned from that experience that just because I think it's great, and just because everybody else does, but the final person who has the final say has something to say about it, I can't immediately dismiss it, because it made it better, much better.
Yeah.
Like infinitely better.
Yeah.
To the point that I'm actually so happy it happened.
Yeah.
You know,
actually, there you go. Yeah.
You know, it's a collaborative process, and we have to treat it as such.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of designers struggle with that, because they have this, and I wouldn't say it's intentional ego. Maybe it's been fed to them. Maybe it's just, you know, the impression designers have. But they don't want to collaborate. They want
my-
expert status from day one, and they think collaboration is a sign of weakness because the client should accept what you give them. That's not a reality.
It's not a reality
at all.
It's not.
Our process collaborated from the start, maybe a little too much, but that's the whole point. And I mean, again, that's attractive. So
9 times out of 10, that's exactly the case. It's going to happen. You're going to send something out. There's something that you may have not thought about, right? And then somebody's going to point that out, and you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Like, okay.
Then you go back to it, and it's like as another challenge, another problem to solve, and it's like, and it makes it better, right?
Every time.
Yeah.
So from there is when I met Killer Mike. Of Run the Jewels, amazing guy. We ended up collaborating on his barbershop and then on Bankhead Seafood, where we also collaborated with T.I.
Nice.
So I've been friends and like collaborators with Killer Mike and T.I. for about the last 6 years or so.
Nice. Yeah.
You know,
Awesome.
It's been a lot of fun, you know. And I just remember like we'll randomly like I could FaceTime him at 1 a.m. or something, and he'd be like, "What's going on, Scott? What you doing?" You know, like his birthday party's in, you know, unbelievably on 4/20. That was when he was born.
Wow,
it was crazy.
It was fate,
right?
Yeah, something like that. But we just got done designing a bunch of packaging for his barbershop where I go.
Yeah,
I've been going for
Looks
a long
good.
time.
Looks good, my friend.
Nice.
And that's all going to be unveiled at his party.
Awesome.
And I'm looking forward to it because I'll be there as well.
How would you describe your style? You definitely have a style, and I think that's why I appreciate, because you look at a piece and it's like, no, that's Scott's, man. That's Scott. That's Scott Fuller's face.
One of the things that I've heard a lot is less of style and more of an execution. It's like I've seen this done in a certain way.
Yes,
like this thought behind it and what you can read into it, and it's like that's how we know it's studio temporary, which I've started to get that a lot lately, which has been which has been really cool. With the style, I would say, you know, it's not based off of any trend or fad. It's something that is, you know, unique and original to each client, which I love.
Nice.
I'm sure I do err on the bolder side, but it's I don't mind it. And
no, dude, that's what you're defined for.
You know, but I try to make something that fits. I try to make something that works for the client that I'm doing, because what I don't do is I push substance over style. Is how I do it. So it might come out a certain way, but if it fits the substance of it, you know. But it's been fun. It's been fun. It's something that I've worked on a lot over the years. You know, 80% of the people that I learned design from are dead.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Fair.
I've got books and first editions and stuff just like sagging my shelves at home. You know, and I go through there and I'm like, I'm not looking to design what they designed. I want to know how they did it.
Yes.
I want to know how they did this move. I want to know why they did this and why it's effective.
Yep.
Right. And that's huge.
Yeah.
And then and then I got into teaching. I've been an adjunct professor at Portfolio Center and now Miami Ad School in Atlanta for the last 4 years. And then you get AI in there and everything like that. And it's just messed up a couple of my students without a doubt.
No doubt.
You know?
So you're so young and your studio, I still got a lot of runway to go.
A lot of runway.
What's the future look like?
I'm kind of figuring that out now.
Yeah.
I have a studio manager for the last year. This is the first time it's ever been anybody other than me.
Yeah.
For the first 9 years, it was just me.
That's actually a big accomplishment, to be honest.
Shit.
Yeah, that was a mistake. But so
it seems like a reoccurring theme for you, buddy.
Well, you know,
it's just
damn
it, another lesson I have to learn.
I know. But I'm looking to bring in my first couple of interns apprentice to kind of do some stuff. I've been doing mentorship for the last 6 years or whatnot through like AIGA and stuff like that. My current studio manager was actually one of my mentees from 2020.
Wow.
Actually. And she's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Ash has been a huge part of the studio for the last year. She is the one who made it possible for me to bring all my merch and stuff here for Iconic, a little streetwear brand. You know, she put everything in its place.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then brought me this awesome trunk of all this stuff and put my stickers all over it and was like, here, this is this for you. And I'm like, Yeah, it's amazing,
cool.
you know?
Yeah.
I would have gotten like 3 boxes and like a bag and like a Target bag or whatever and like brought all my stuff and, you know. But it's just been a blast. I think I'm looking to, in the next couple of years, I'm looking to bring on a couple designers. I'm looking to...
And teach now internally versus teaching externally.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
And that's the thing, you know, people might look at the way I do and whatnot and think like, man, what is it like? You know, it's like one thing to work with this guy. What it's going to be like to work for him.
Yeah.
You know, for me, the little details are king for me.
Yeah.
So I need somebody who knows to look for the little things and how much that matters. Somebody who's not afraid to do you know, like I've worked for a music festival for the last 6 years. I do everything.
Yeah.
Everything for them. Even all the like the little mailers and all the little stuff and all the tags and all the different things like that. You know, I could pass that off to somebody, but it's like, no, I want to make sure that this is done right.
Yeah.
You know, and I want somebody that has that same dedication.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And just a willingness to learn. But I also want somebody that's going to challenge me as well. Somebody I'm not looking for another version of me.
Yeah.
We would kill each other. Like, that's the thing. You know, if I tried to work with me, that would be a massive problem. We would just implode, you know? So that's something that I'm really looking forward to. You know, hopefully that doesn't scare anybody off, but it's going to be fun. You know, we've got some other, you know, revenue streams and whatnot we're looking at. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very excited about the future. You know, 10 years is crazy. I remember getting to 5 years and my dad basically saying, if you make it to 5 years, there's no stopping you. Yeah. And I remember I called him on my 5th anniversary. I said, Dad, I just hit 5 years. He said,
yeah, you're there.
Let's go.
You made it.
You're there. You made it. Yeah. So, there's a lot of that coming, but, we'll see.
Yeah. Oh man.
Sweet.
We'll see.
All right. Let's wrap this up with, since the teaching, the mentorship is such a big deal.
Yes.
What does the future, in your opinion, for young new designers look like? And take that question any way you want.
Oh, I can take it a couple different ways. No, I would say, honestly, there is more available to students now.
Yeah.
Than was ever. I mean, one of my buddies, I mean, he's like 24, 25 years old. Yeah. He's done more at 25 than I did at 35.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of him for it. And he's killing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's doing some fantastic work and he's doing it the right way, which I'm really happy about. I think for me, this is probably gonna be a little bit of a hot take, but I think people look at the social media designers.
Yep.
The people that really put some of that stuff out there. Here's the quick process and here's that. And I have zero issue with any of that. But what happens sometimes, especially when you're just starting out, we're just going to go straight to that.
Yeah.
But what they don't realize is there's all these years of learning and doing and whatnot. It's not an algorithm that gets you to that point. Right. It's not a quick video that gets you to that point.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's everything can be just taken like a pill. And it's just like, oh, I'm just going to be this. Yeah. And why are you doing this? Well, I want to get all these views on TikTok.
Yeah.
Why? That's not why I'm
Wrong
doing
reason.
this. Yep. This is not the end goal. This is a result of all of this.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is half of a percent of what you've worked on up to this point.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm still learning. Yeah. I flew up to Brooklyn a month ago to take a workshop with Lance Wyman.
Cool.
Nice.
Probably the biggest influence on my career. And I got to spend a day with this guy.
That's cool, dude.
It was unbelievable. And I learned a lot.
Right?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. But I'm like, I never want to get to a point where I feel like I've made it, because that's immediate right there is the plateau of my career. I'll never go further past that, no matter what I do.
Yeah.
It's a mindset, right? So like AI and stuff like that, I don't have an issue with that.
Yeah.
My biggest, with AI itself, what I have an issue with is how early it's being used in the process.
Yeah. Oh, good call.
I'll give you an example. One of my students was working. We were looking over everybody's shoulder and everything, like on their screens. She had this amazing concept for, I teach identity design and symbol design. And she had this amazing concept, these great sketches. And it was making me laugh. I was like, I love this thing. I loved like the cheekiness and like everything about this. I love it.
Yeah.
All these great sketches. Had no clue how to really, truly use Illustrator at all.
Yes.
So what she was doing is she would go and put in the AI prompt in Illustrator, and then she just started picking stuff and then designing around that. And it looked nothing like her sketches.
Yep.
And I stopped everything.
Yeah.
The entire class. I said, everybody put down your laptops and close them.
Yeah.
Take out your pencils and your papers and listen.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I
Blasted her.
No, I blasted the entire class.
Yeah. Oh, good.
I said, I'm seeing this way too much.
Yeah.
This is insane.
Yeah.
It is cheating. It is, that could be somebody else's work.
Yeah.
You know, like it was just ridiculous. And I'm sitting there, you did all of this and you threw it all away because you weren't willing to put in the time to actually design this out.
Right.
And to fail and to do this.
Yeah.
In my class, I don't let them use Procreate or an iPad. All their sketches must be on paper with pen.
Oh, with pen.
With pen. Because I want to see the mess ups.
And you see the mess ups, the mistakes.
I want to see that.
Yeah.
It's like, your sketches are for you. They're not for your client.
Yeah.
So mess up and be okay with it.
Yeah.
You know, and just it's been crazy like that. So like with that, I don't have an issue with it. I just have an issue with how early it's being used.
Right. Yeah, fair.
So I don't know. I'm kind of an old hat when it comes to that type of stuff.
That's cool.
No, it makes sense, right? You're not saying don't do it.
I'm not saying don't do it.
Don't have it do the thinking for you, because it actually doesn't think.
Because here's the thing: if you and I put in the exact same prompts, we're going to get a lot of the exact same stuff.
Yeah. Fair.
True.
Absolutely.
So why would I want to do that?
Yeah.
And it's not about defining a style or anything like that. It's about figuring out what's the answer to this problem.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there you go.
Yeah.
Sweet.
There's your closing music, bud.
Right?
Yeah,
There's your closing music.
Oh,
You're
man.
so important to the Angry Designer podcast. We got a band.
We have music. We got a band for you.
I love it. I love it.
Dude, it's been a pleasure getting to know you the past couple days. I feel like I have like a new brother in this, right? Like it's been such a great time.
You got a new brother? He's got a new son?
Right?
I mean, this is like...
All right. Off you go.
Off you go. To your room. Where can everybody find you?
Okay, go to thestudiotemporary.com. And then I'm at Studio Temporary on Instagram, Twitter. And then check out my streetwear brand at stayiconicbrand.com, or walk, 15 feet that way
this way
and get you something. And I'm talking to you guys too. No, but it's good. I've had a really good time. It's been a lot of fun. It's so funny because we're on like this Angry Designer podcast, and I feel like we spent the whole time talking about like all this super like deep stuff.
Yep.
And like we didn't start like laughing and like insulting each other until like the closing. So I feel like we have to come on and do like a round 2 and just like go at each other.
At it.
Yeah.
You know what? We should have been recording all our conversations up until this point.
Holy
shit,
gosh.
They have been.
Oh,
yeah, we've had a lot of
gosh.
really good
You're
ones
one
up
of the
until this
funniest dudes
podcast.
in the business.
I know,
swear to
right?
God,
This has
man.
been amazing.
I love
Joke
it.
telling and all that. I was like,
Oh man. I mean, I could end it with that joke that I told. I mean, I could just.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. We won't do that one.
A
little mystery. We'll keep the mystery. You'll just have to meet me and find out. You know.
Yeah. Ask for the jokes if you meet Scott.
I love it. Seriously though, love you guys. Thanks for everything. Friend for life.
Yeah,
absolutely.
However long or short that is,
I don't
and
have
we'll
much
just.
time, so.
Let's just not.
That's why I'm getting all the jokes out now, man. I don't know if I'll ever see Sean again. You know.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
I love it.
Whippersnappers, I swear. Jeez.
Oh my gosh. Nobody's going to use that word after he's gone. It's going to be amazing.
All right, everybody. I hope you guys got so much out of this episode because honestly, I mean, through hardship comes so much glory. And honestly, your story is amazing. And I mean, you know, I thought I went through some troubles, but
Me too.
What you went through, dude, is iconic. And it's perfect for who you've become.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
And you're humble too. Like you realize where you come from and you're not going to forget all that shit. Right?
No,
absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. With that being said, my name's Massimo.
And my name's Sean.
And you are?
Scott Fuller.
Stay creative.
And stay angry.
And stay iconic.
Peace.